welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations Legacy United Origin Wheeljack. And here we have Origin Wheeljack. This is a continuation of what started in, I believe, the buzzworthy Bumblebee line with Origin Bumblebee and Origin Jazz. We have Wheeljack in the form he took in the original G1 cartoon, the first episode when they were on Cybertron. And I've been waiting for this guy for a while. I'm really excited to check him out in more detail. If you saw from the short I did, the transformation's a little fiddly, but once you do it a couple times, I've gotten more used to it. To start with, I think he looks pretty cute. He comes with this 3-piece blast shield, which just tabs in on each side here, so you can take it apart. It is configurable. You kind of got to be careful. Because they don't include cross hatching here in this mold, it has a little more flex to it than you'd expect, which does mean it can stress. So what I like to do is I like to come in to this point, and it comes off a lot easier than trying to just take it off at that angle. Same thing on this angle. You can come in and it comes off easier, and then you avoid stress marks like what. There we go, what we see right there. And I think I got the same thing on this side. But the reason I want to take it off is because I want to reattach. Let's see, put it back on. There we go. Easier. And, oh. Like so. It can become a segment of Cybertronian roadway for Wheeljack. So if you want to display him like this, you can. Unfortunately, this doesn't combine with any other attachment system. So obviously we've got like the airlock system, the Titan's return system. This is very much its own thing. It doesn't really combine with anything, but it does. Can we? There we go. Same thing on this side. There we go. It does come apart and you can put it back together. I don't know how durable this is, especially without the reinforcement of having some additional plastic coming in to support here, but you know, it does that. And then here is Wheeljack in his alt mode. Again, nicely painted. I like this painted detail up front. I love the use of the light green plastic here. It kind of blends in with the transparent windshield here on the side, not windshield, window. He's got his front, he's got these fans, which aren't super accurate to the show, but they also operate as disruptor discs from I believe the episode was called The Core, so we do have those. Set those aside. He also has his gun like so. That looks good. This is transparent plastic that was painted silver, so it can combine with things like, there we go, if we want blast effects or stuff like that, or just like in the episode, you can stick a disruptor disc on the end of it should you wish to do so. And yeah, I know this is Voyager. It's claimed to be Voyager. It's not. It still feels like a large deluxe. It is mostly hollow. Here he is next to the closest thing I have to the Earthrise Wheeljack mold, so we can see how much bigger he does look in this mode. Not lengthwise, but definitely in thickness. He's nice and chunky. And he feels pretty good and solid once he is all put together. I think the transforming him into alt mode is a little annoying. To use his ramp capability, you can't open things up. And you can if you have an Origin Bumblebee, which I think I gave mine away. Or maybe it was a raffle prize for a charity event. He can slide right in here. So all that hollow space does serve a functional purpose, which I do appreciate a lot. And then you do have to open up the top to close things back up again. But yeah, I like the way he looks. Minor complaints, I think, at the base down here. I mean, obviously we have a robot head, which I forgot to turn around, but technically he shouldn't be looking at you. But I think I would have liked a 5mm peg right here so that he could sit on top of a little stand. That would have been neat. Maybe some sort of area for a blast effect in the back. We do have, obviously, spots for them in the front. We can even stick them in here should we wish to do so, although those are angled. So, you know, a little bit of blast effect goodness, and then there's the 5mm peg up top. But yeah, he's boxy, he's cute. He and the other Origin toys make me feel like Siege was entirely redundant, because the Siege alt modes were kind of like their traditional alt modes, which got done better again by first Earthrise and then Studio Series. So they feel like they totally didn't accomplish anything. And then this is a better alien mode than, you know, what we got in Siege. So yeah, for Jazz and Bumblebee, like it felt totally redundant. I don't think we got a Siege Wheeljack, but this makes me feel like the Siege Wheeljack. And transformation is pretty simple once you get used to it. So to start out, we're going to lift up the top of our box, just get that out of the way, and that lets us start loosening things up everywhere else. This flap comes down. We can go into these tabs here to get these side pieces out of the way. And it's just a lot of things that we're just going to slowly pry apart. This chest piece locks in kind of these leg sections. So once it's separated, we can come in and we can separate out these pieces, fold out these pieces, and you see just how much of his mass is going to collapse into his legs. We can move our feet down and out of the way. This section rotates and collapses, then this section folds in on top, and we have another tab that locks things in nicely. This slot to that tab. Same thing on this side. Folding in his little back piece, fold this section in, fold this section in, bring down that foot, fold that section in on the side, and we've got kind of the side of his calf built out. Then we can come in on top, we can rotate that piece around, collapse this up into the tab, collapse this over, and it's got a slot right there and a tab right there. Come down, folding things up, and then there's a slot right there and a tab right there. So the legs fold up, you know, I mean, not super cleanly, but they do fold up very compactly, which I do appreciate. Next thing we do is we're going to come in up top, and we need to separate his arms from the windshield, which we can do so. We can split the arms. They are going to rotate out, and you can see here there is a joint that becomes our elbow joint. We just need to fish out our fist on either side. But once you get it out, you can fold down that arm, and then you've got both arms out. And the last two things are just bringing up his chest, which accordions up and sets in place there, bringing up these wings. And these wings you see have little tabs on either side that you want to have even, because you're going to bring up the back piece, and it's going to kind of slot in, not super securely, but it's going to slot in on those tabs. And then we collapse this accordion piece, and it's got one last tab. And here, with his feet up, he is a little backpack heavy, but here we do have Wheeljack. We can give him his gun. We can give him his disruptor discs, which can peg back into the same place that they did previously. And we can even take this piece, the blast shield, and it's got two slots here that can stick on his backpack here to give him kind of faux wings. And I mean, that is a lot of backpack for the toy, but here is Wheeljack in his Origin robot mode. Appreciate the level of effort that was involved in the engineering here. Oh, I did forget to flip around his waist. There we go. So there's how they look together. And yeah, it is really impressive, you know, next to the Earthrise Wheeljack mold in exhaust, what they managed to cram into essentially the same sized figure. He has a lot of implied svelteness. He obviously has a massive backpack. He obviously has massive chunks of folds and panels built into his legs. But he kind of looks kind of slender around the chest. The legs don't look like crazy bigger than these because the feet are smaller. Things like that are just really, really impressive to me. Even if they didn't pull off the effect fully and he's got all this hanging off of him, I still appreciate what they did. And he's, you know, he's standard legacy articulation, you know, pretty decently articulated figure. We do have what I think is a fine head sculpt. It's a Wheeljack head sculpt. It doesn't feel very emotive, and you might say it doesn't look human enough to be emotive, but I have seen emotive Wheeljacks in the past. So, you know, a little more like, I don't know, angular eyes or something would have gone a long way, but still works good. He cannot 360 on the arms because his backpack gets in the way, but the joint can do everything. He does have a bicep, a very high bicep swivel. He does have an elbow bend. He does have a wrist swivel, which I really, really appreciate. Helps with the posability a lot. And if you're doing stuff with his disruptor discs and all that. He does have waist swivel. He can do the full Van Damme. He can kick up pretty high. He cannot kick back very far because the bulk in his leg gets into the bulk on his backpack. He does have a nice deep knee bend that's actually past 90 degrees. Thigh swivel. And then a double ball jointed ankle tilt here. So, you know, decently posable and a fun little toy. He's fun enough that even though I already have a Wheeljack, I'm going to hold on to him for a little while. Maybe I'll repaint him or something. I like his paint apps a lot. I like the toy makes me happy, and I want to keep fiddling around with it even if I'm not sure where it's going to go in my collection yet. So, is this worth $35 is the big question, right? Because it is a Voyager price point. I'm really torn on that. The transformation's fiddly. The bot mode has its issues. But the ability for this robot to turn into that vehicle is really, really neat to me. So I appreciate it. But do I think it's $35 worth of toy here? I don't think so. I think if you can find it on sale for buy one, get one half off, or, you know, for $25, it's an awesome deluxe. But is it a good Voyager? I think is a little more up for interpretation. But that is a look at Transformers Generations Legacy United Origin Wheeljack, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!